just want to take out this time to give a great big thanks to those who have been pretty much ride and dying for me since I started this spiritual journey and started my vlogging. And I know that this has been quite a learning experience as I continue to explore the world of spirituality and also continue to gain wisdom and mature fully into grown woman status. I really wanted to dedicate this song to you. This is like an old school church song, and I kind of revised it a little bit. And so the important part is the words. I don't mean to torture it, but this is just what I wanted to say to show gratitude. I thank you. I thank you from the bottom of my heart and the depth of my soul. I thank you. I really do. My heart, thank you. I love you. I love you from the bottom of my heart and the depth of my soul. I love you from my heart to yours. I really love you. I appreciate you. Appreciate you from the bottom of my heart and the depth of my soul. Appreciate you, 'cause I really do. We really need you. What's up, everybody? This is Kiki coming to you today to send nothing but love, peace, and positivity your way. I'm on the road again, and out here trying to take care of some business as usual, and reflecting. You know how it is when I get to reflecting, I be coming up with it. My downloads be off the chain. So I'm sitting here thinking about dating today, and because I'm kind of fresh meat on the scene in so many ways. I've been married for years and been married since back in the 90s. So early 90s, well, late 90s. And the dating game has changed a lot. Nowadays, you don't know what you're gonna run into out there because of the social media influences, because of these. It seems like today's world is based on validation and a lot of non-transparency, a lot of hidden secrets. And oh boy, I do not like riding behind dump trucks. And hold on, y'all, I gotta do something real quick and illegal, and I don't want y'all to see it. Hold on. All right, I'm back. I had to go around that. So as I was saying, I'm trying to navigate this new way of dating. This is kind of like my wake up energy drink, because didn't get a chance to take out time to fix me breakfast. Not bad. So I normally buy this what is it called, Celsius type drink, or I drink Arizona Tree. So this is my first time trying to learn it. It's not too bad. So I was saying to myself, okay, so we know people are dating with many options. If you're fortunate enough to have options. And many people say, okay, let's not rush it. Let's just start off getting to know each other. Some people like to say whatever happened in the past is in the past. This is the future now. But in my mind, the mind of Kiki, I feel like that's concerning to me. And this is why I say what I say. Taking your time getting to know someone, yes, that is a plus. But now that this new thing going around where people are ghosting each other, people got this red, what is it called? Leaving you on red and text messages, or, you know, people got all these options and things like that. It just seems like taking your time is very questionable. And I feel like taking your time should still come with a time limit. No, I'm not saying that you should rush and sleep with someone. And I know that temptation is very high nowadays, especially if you are attracted to someone, and it takes a lot of self-control to not allow it to get the best of you. And I will say I was almost guilty of that, because when I'm going on an abstinence type of journey, you know, your hormones, just because your mind say, hey, I'm gonna, you know, pack the cootie cat away and put it in timeout, your body is not saying, okay, I'm ready to do that. So it's almost like mind over matter type of thing. But let me get back on track. So this is kind of where I'm going with this whole topic, right? The topic is mainly focusing on dating nowadays and knowing how to recognize the do's and don'ts. Because I think over my time frame of being, you know, coming out of a toxic marriage and going into the single world as a mother, and not just, you know, a young mother. I am a mid-aged woman that have a lot of wisdom, a lot of knowledge under my belt. So it ain't like, you know, when somebody coming to me, I'm still trying to figure things out. I am trying to understand the new age of dating, but as far as what I want and what my body needs and what I'm going to accept in my life, that's a given. I already got that. I got that all under control. But what I have under control for myself isn't necessarily the same for, you know, the opposites, the other gender. You know what I mean? So here's what I'm saying. It just seems like to me, when we're dating, we're asking the wrong questions up front. And maybe it's just the guys that I am meeting and running into. And I think the problem is I'm running into familiarity. I'm running into people that remind me of the comfort of the past. And I think that's what we got to be mindful of. If we're trying to start this spiritual journey and really being more conscious about what we eat, what we feed our brain, what we allow in our energy and in our lives. So we really got to be mindful about things like that when we are single and really open to dating in today's times. So far this is what I'm understanding. Okay, and maybe I need to come up with Kiki's dating questionnaire, because I never tried dating sites. I'm still kind of stuck in the old traditional ways of meeting someone in person. You know, I may start off conversating online, like, hey, how you doing? What's up? What you all about? But as far as the main core of the dating phase, I really have to meet the person face to face. So, and then we can go from there. And this is a learning process for me, you know, because like I said, back then dating was it seemed like it was more simplified. You know, all you had to do was put on some R. Kelly or put on some what is it called? What's the name of the group that I used to love to listen to? Before I let you go, can I get a good night kiss? Is it Blackstreet? You know, when you put on music like that, you know, some Sade, that was my time, my era of early, you know, that was my early years of dating. And, you know, you let somebody know, hey, you sexy, hey, what you all about? See, it wasn't a lot of thought or a lot of effort really put into it. Like, I did not have to worry about competing against BBLs or nowadays you got to compete against transgender men to women. You got to compete against just a lot of crazy stuff, and social media, and it's like, oh my goodness, it's not easy. It's not easy. So if I really had to ask the questions in my early, if it was allowed and normal, the first thing I want to know is, okay, first off, where you from? Okay, what kind of relationship you have with your parents? Because it tells me when I ask that kind of question, okay, if your dad is not in the picture, then I'm already knowing you coming in with some unbalanced situation. If your mama ain't in your life or wasn't in your life full time, it tells me that you're missing out, or you may come up short with the feminine energy, right? I'm gonna also want to know, and it doesn't even have to be your biological parents. It can be a foster parent. It can be whether you had to live with your auntie and your uncle. As long as it's an equal balance. And I say that because the world thrives off of polarity, feminine and masculine energy. Daytime represent the masculine energy. That's why we use the word sun, the son of God, the sun, the energy from the sun. That's masculine energy. The moon is more feminine, emotional. And so when that is in place, then you have a balanced out person. I'm not saying they're going to be perfect. I'm not saying they ain't going to make mistakes. It's just more balanced and equal when they know how to speak up and be a masculine, respectable alpha man, or rather, they need to show their more sensual, emotional side. Not being afraid to communicate feelings or being affectionate. Now, I ain't talking about them unavailable emotional dudes, because that means they're lacking some type of balance. Whether the mama was missing, the daddy was missing, probably locked up in prison on drugs in the street, or rolling stolen with other family members, or just some type of mental inner struggle, and it's just like it is. It is what it is, and I know a lot of times people do not intend for their life to be the way it is, but unfortunately, we're all put in this matrix, and this is kind of what we're given. Some people get lucky and have it all together, and some people don't. Okay, they deal with self-esteem issues or insecurities, and because they're being told to compare themselves against the other men, the famous men that can sing really good, that can play basketball, football really well. They even have to compete against the men that's out in the streets, that's running in, that know how to go and hustle and get the bag, maybe legally or illegally. So it's a lot of competition that exists in this world. But if you're not emotionally balanced, then you'll get caught up in that negative mindset and trying to fit in, and then whether you gotta hurt somebody or not, you're focusing on getting the bag. Fuck women, fuck their emotions, fuck niggas, fuck their emotions, and let's get the bag. And then we got a lot of broken people walking around trying to date, and they don't even have good trust, and I'm speaking on, some of this is some of my experience. So I'm saying, knowing whether the person grew up with both feminine and masculine energy, male, female in their household, is very vital. It kind of set the tone of what you're going to be dealing with. I had an opportunity to talk to a few guys. One guy was all about money. Okay, I got to get the bag. I got to get the bag. Okay, that's good. But don't include me as your job to get the bag. Don't try to ask me for no money because you focusing on trying to get the bag, and now you trying to, make me your employer. No, that ain't going to work. I am not working my ass off to help you pay your bills. We gotta go at, it's gotta be teamwork. That's all it is to it. Don't take advantage of me because you decided to, either drop out of school. Hope nobody don't think I'm blowing that. I'm trying to fix my I know I need to do better. I'm trying to find the perfect camera stand, and the one I purchased it was falling. It was like too bulky. So I'm trying to find the right one. I probably have to go on Amazon. Don't mean to go off topic, but if y'all see my phone falling forward, that's because I'm constantly trying to keep my phone from falling off my steering wheel. But as long as you can hear my words, that's the main goal, the main point I'm trying to make. All right, so back to what I was saying. So, God trying to tell me that, had a hard time trying to stay in college. Money came up short, so he became a plumber, which is not bad. He's a certified plumber. They get paid pretty good, you know. They know how to work around shit real well. I ain't laughing and picking on the job, but that just tells you, okay. But don't bring shit to me because you know how to work around shit real well. Some ideas of how to send money to him because his birthday coming up. Like the hell? Okay, so there's guys like that. There's another guy I was talking to, and it was all full of trauma dumping. I'm like, well, damn, I just wanted to know how you was feeling, and I just, you know, I didn't know I was gonna get a whole list of, man, you know, my baby mama tripping, man, I gotta go to court because, you know, I might be tied to this criminal case, and man, you know, it was like two guys I ran into had the same exact identical story. The daddy wasn't fully in the picture, had to be raised by the mama. The minute I start questioning anything regarding his personal situation, because he voluntarily shared it, you know, then he get all emotional and be like, I ain't like the other guy. Stop judging me. I'm like, no, I'm not judging you. I'm just trying to see, okay, yeah, we all got a fucked up background, but are you working on making changes and improvement? Are you just sitting in it, wallowing in it, and then want to bring somebody else in your world when you know that you ain't ready and you ain't bringing the right tools to welcome another female in your world? Because I ain't coming empty-handed. I got children. I have bills that ain't going nowhere. And yes, I do have debt. Not to the point where I have to file bankruptcy, but I do have debt. I don't have, you know, and I'm trying to clear all that out. I'm working towards it. But I'm not going out there trying to find somebody to help solve my issue. You know, if I run into a guy that's got it together and that's generous, then I feel like, okay, you blessing me, then I'll definitely bless you, baby. Trust me and believe. That's what I'm all about, give and take. But don't come to me half-sided. You want to dump all your trauma in my lap and then want to pull more out of me and give me breadcrumbs. No, it don't work like that. So when you're dating, or it seems like when you're dating nowadays, you got to find out about their mental capacity. Okay, is the person broken mentally because they probably dealt with a lot of bullying, because maybe the daddy wasn't full-time in the picture? Did they have to join in with a group of guys that was hating on you, or a group of females that was hating on you? Because I dealt with bullying. I ain't ashamed to say I dealt with bullying, and it was trying to break me down to the point where I was like, well, damn, was I born in the wrong time era? So, but I had to heal that shit and realize that people only hated on me because they lacked something within themselves, whether they were family members or friends or co-workers. I had to kind of come to terms with that. But see, everybody don't think that way. People just sit there and they kind of soak in it and start drinking and smoking the trauma away, and it's only a temporary fix. That's another question you need to ask. Okay, what do you do for, you know, a hobby? Do you just get high all day, get drunk all day with your homeboys? Do you really work to achieve or aim to obtain a certain goal, or do you just work and put your money back into some bullshit? You know what I mean? Like, are you working to clear off your credit? Are you working to save up to create a home for a good, you know, for a partner to help you take care of the home? Like, these are questions. I don't know. Okay, here's another one. All right. Okay, I understand. Yeah, sex gonna come up, but we gotta know: are you clean? Are you good? You know, or do you have any STDs? Okay, now, okay, if that's a yes, what type of STDs? Because some STDs don't go bye-bye. They stay with you for life. Okay, now we can't really judge people based on their sexual activity, because it seems like to me the world is based on hypersexuality. It seems like when you turn on social media, you got somebody half-dressed trying to tease you and want you to be horny for some sex. When you out in public places, there's women that's half-dressed. There's men that's trying to, you know, get attention, or they're trying to get their rocks off. So whether you are a very whether you have self-control with your sexuality, you could potentially run into a thought. You can potentially run into what do they say, 304s. Now I guess that's the term they use now, but or the biblical term, whores. So whether you know, use condom or not, there's still a risk some type of way. You can have soul ties where, okay, now the sex was so good, he threw down that dick in the bed real good, she threw down that juicy Lucy so good to where you don't even want to walk away from it. Now you becoming obsessed. Now you becoming more of a stalker. Now you try to, you know, lock them down and stuff like that, and that can potentially become an issue, or maybe an accidental pregnancy, because sometimes, you know, rough sex, sometimes it happens. So these are questions that I think should be asked, and it should be, that information need to be shown, because nowadays people ain't waiting to know 60 days and 90 days to see if somebody got a good matching dick to their pussy. Nope, they're not doing that nowadays, because see what happens, some men will actually go throughout the whole 60-90 day process and still find something else better and want to go fuck around. Some men will marry you, go through the whole process. I do go through the courthouse, get their mama involved and all of that, and still cheat in the marriage. So whether you fuck a guy for one night stand, or wait 60, 90 days, or wait, or be in a marriage for 20, 30 years, and infidelity, it can still take place. It can still take place. It's all about the mindset and maturity. What's another question? Okay, do you have any children? All right, elaborate. Okay, yes, you got children, but okay, are you on child support? And if not, okay, is it more like you not with the baby mama, but every once in a while you kind of come in and see the kids, and she throwing pussy at you just so she can fulfill a need? Because nowadays a lot of men really don't want to come in and take over somebody else's household. They'll come in and fuck around with the mama, but they don't want the responsibility of trying to raise somebody else's children. So yes, the woman will still probably be horny. The woman still probably want to feel special and loved, if depending on how the relationship departed. So, and that goes for men too. Sometimes men have a hard time settling down with a very mature, well-established woman, and they don't want to have to tell a woman, yeah, I'm on child support with 4-5 kids. So it's a hit and miss with this dating situation. It is, and then not just that. Okay, what job do you have? Okay, yeah, you got a job, but okay, how long you been on the job? What, are you passionate about a job? Are you just getting by? Are you really doing something legal or illegal? Or what's another question? Okay, yeah, you got a good job. Okay, but is all your money going into your baby mama? Do you have anything left to at least take me out on a date every once in a while, or help me get my toes done? Not that I really need that, because I can get my own toes done. I know I do my own feet. But I'm like, okay, if we gotta spend all our time trying to get you out of debt, what? How fun is that? Like, are you working strictly just to pay off every baby mama that you fucked around with? That's another important thing, and that goes for a woman too. Are you working so hard to the point to where you don't even have energy left to be with a guy, and all you want is, okay, the bag? Or is it that you have, you're dealing with low self-esteem and you trying to hurry and get what you can out of somebody so you can go ahead and prepare for the next dude, because you already predetermining that, okay, I ain't gonna be with him long. Okay, how's it with the relationship with the children and also the parents? Do your parents run your life? Do you got to get permission from the parents and the baby mama to go ahead and date somebody else? Because some baby mamas be hating. They don't want to be with you, but then at the same time, they want to control you. They want to control your money. They want to control who you dating. So I'm like, if you got to still answer to them, then how in the hell you out there trying to holler at somebody else? Like, why take somebody else through the emotional roller coaster? You know what I mean? Some men be feeling like, I can balance out my baby mama and some other female or whatever. Well, yeah, that's a hit and miss. You must be a polygamy king, because see, back in the days, it was meant for kings. Men that's established and well off. He can have more than 2 wives or whatever. Concubines. He can have that because he can afford it, and he's mature enough, and the women are secure enough to handle sharing the love, between the other women and the king. But a lot of men be trying to act like they're kings, and they don't have king-like behavior. Like calling somebody a bitch right quick because you and your feelings, that ain't king-like behavior. Clear communication, knowing how to structure, balance all of these emotions, knowing how to recognize whether a woman is going through a hormonal issue, whether a woman is going through just emotional stress from other jobs and other. That's something a mature man, have to know how to recognize. And I'm not saying all the responsibilities on him to balance it out, but I'm just saying, you gotta earn that king treatment. You cannot be walking around here, trying to juggle women and you barely can take care of yourself. That just doesn't make sense to me at all. Did I cover everything? That if I had a question here, what else would I ask? Oh, that mental health is a big thing. If you've been locked up, that can potentially cause mental health. I'm not saying knock all the men that have been locked up, because the system is set up for all black men to fail. I mean, of course, there's other nationalities that get caught up in the system, but they hit the African American community harder. They hit them harder, and they set things up for them to fail, like putting drugs in the community. They put guns in the community, and then they got them competing and going through all this rivalry. Everybody fighting over food, fighting over resources and things like that. That's the system setup, okay? But that's important to know if a man is dealing with mental health issues, and what kind of mental health. And I know it's all sensitive and personal, but I think now that I'm maturing and learning about the dating scene and what my body needs balance. I cannot deal with somebody coming in 1 week and they all into you, love bombing you, and the next week they confused and they frustrated because they losing money to their baby mama, or they ain't making enough money because they dropped out of school and they just not getting their life back on track, or they frustrated because they done fucked up their health because they done went out there and they was reckless with their dick and they got all types of issues, ED issues, and just got a whole lot of baby mamas out there. They done smoked their lungs to filth, or they done damaged their liver and kidney with a whole lot of alcohol, and messing up their money with habits and addiction and all these temporary, what they call them, what they call them girls that actually get paid just to look at them and kind of like a pornography, but more in the live. You wasting your money on that, but then you can't even turn off reality versus make believe. You just can't turn that off. That's an addiction. It's just like I said. I know it's not going to be perfect people out there, because I'm not perfect myself, but I'm just looking at the trickle effect of people's decision. Because we have enough drama. That's how social media get paid, because of drama. We got, women fighting with other women over men that just want to sit back and laugh at it. They got, you got down low men out there spreading different things because they don't want to be straight up. They're insecure about being open about their sexuality. It's just a lot of headache. Kids being born in karmic relationships, so now you got karmic kids. Because I'm gonna tell you, I don't care how beautiful your child is, how much you make sure your child look good with the latest brand and outfits. If your home is chaotic, it's going to affect that child. And how I know? Because I be in the classroom working with half of them hard-headed ass kids. I love them, but they're hard-headed. They out there doing inappropriate things. And like I said, this fourth grader, it's 2 fourth graders I can talk about. The male one, we already know he's a Fruit Loop, but he out here trying to date girls just to hide his insecurities, and then he goes in the corner and cries because everybody, including everybody, know that he's not going to be straight when he gets older. But he's trying to like girls, and he only lasts about 2 weeks with a girl, and then now he's mad with them, and they acting like they want to fight each other. So he's swinging his hand and his head, and the girl trying to get on his level, and it's just already drama in 4th grade. Then there's another girl, that beautiful mixed looking girl, that pretended to like a boy, handsome little boy, and he goes out his way and buy her Valentine gifts, and then she takes it and throw it to the back of the classroom. We're trying to figure out, well, what's going on? Who gift this is? Because it's about to go on the That's what I told her. And then she's like, well, I'm mad at him because he liked another girl on Instagram. He liked the girl picture. I guess flirting with another girl. So what she did, she was a Valentine gift in the back of the classroom, and then she decided to go hook up with another girl in the back of my classroom, and they in the back of the classroom making out. You know what I'm saying? How that's messy. And he mad. He don't even know what to do, because he don't want to be fighting no girl, because the girl that she went to, that girl was strong. She was body slamming all them boys up in the classroom. I was like, golly. So she was very masculine. She was already ready for that stud life. She was ready. But that's what I'm saying. Like, if we could just get a hold of the truth and transparency And I know a lot of people don't want to tell their business. They don't want people to know their business because it could potentially not work out. And some people are stupid and immature, and they'll go out there and blast your business just to make you look bad. But everybody got a fucked up situation. I kid you not. Everybody make mistakes in life, whether it's money mistakes, pregnancy mistakes. That's what tripped me out. Like, women be like tripping me out. They be trying to give somebody else advice about how to be a parent, and they don't even want to admit that they tried to abort 2 babies they had. So it's like, all I'm saying is everybody got their hidden secrets. But I think, like I said, if there was more transparency, and I understand why they wrote it in the Bible, and I understand why Mayat decided to add that in for what they call it, law of order back in the Egyptian days. I understand why that's important. Thou shalt not lie, and that's including half truth. You know, when you tell the truth, then that gives people the opportunity to determine whether they can work around your situation or whether they can't. Because see, if you go into a situation blinded, thinking that he just said he got 2 kids from 2 different baby mamas, so it's okay, I can handle that. And then you ain't know the baby mama's crazy. Half of them been locked up. They want to fight. They don't even want you. They don't want to see the guy happy, or even the guy. Like me, I got a crazy one hidden back up in the cut, but I know how to make sure it don't get out of hand. So, because when somebody trying to destroy my life, my ancestors gonna make sure to kick some ass for me. Things are in place for some crazy assholes. But like I said, you know, people need to follow those guidelines, and I think that they won't have to worry about having unwanted pregnancies. They don't have to worry about unwanted STDs, or they can, you know, just prepare themselves for situations, you know, because it ain't like, you know, it's the end of the world, because some people go through situations they didn't ask to be in. Some people get raped and end up with an STD that they can't get rid of. Some people end up lied to, you know, thinking that they're with somebody that's honest and faithful, and then come to find out they're not. Some people don't ask to have the situation or be in a situation that they're in. But you got to still push forward and still make the best out of life. And you can't like mistreat people or outcast people because they're in a situation they didn't ask to be in. Some people go through domestic violence and they're walking around with permanent scars, you know, stab wounds, shock wounds. You know, some people are so depressed they eat themselves to the point to where they're slowly killing themselves with unhealthy foods, and they're walking around with all types of medical conditions. So it's like we got to be open to being honest. I'm telling you, it will make a big difference in our society. And I think once that become more of the norm, where people don't be embarrassed or they don't tell half truth, then I think it'll be less issues in our world. It'll be less crime. It will be less medical issues where people have to constantly go out and get blood transfusion, and because they don't contracted issues, or don't have to worry about fighting with baby mamas and baby daddies, and I don't know. I mean, property not being destroyed, you know. So I think that we need to really step it up a notch with the questions we're asking when we're dating. Because listen, if somebody come to you and say they got almost $100,000 in debt, you know, that's going to pull a lot out of that person's pocket, and you got to determine whether you willing to work with that person if you don't have to have that debt. You know, you got to determine whether you care enough for this person to where you want to work with them, and you got to make sure they're not just getting with you just to help them get out of debt. Oh, I can't afford. Like one guy I was talking to, he couldn't afford shit because he had to pay child support, and he was going through some court issues, and he wanted me to front everything, and I'm like, the hell, shit, you better go on back and date somebody that don't require you to have nothing. Because when you're dealing with a mature grown ass woman with responsibilities, it's like I said, I can be a blessing or I can be a lesson. I can be an asset to you. That's what I'm trying to say. Or I can be a debt. You know, it just all depends on how you trying to come at me. So that's just, you know, an eye opener for people that's kind of going through the dating phase, much like me. You know, I really still believe in love, and I'm old school. I believe in that old school traditional love. I can remember to this day very well, vividly well, when my great grandmother and great grandfather used to hold hands, and no matter how much she was struggling with Parkinson, and my great granddad had severe scoliosis in his back, they still loved each other through thick and thin, through, illness and health, and it was a beautiful thing to see. He wasn't embarrassed of her. I'm not saying that he did everything right. She did everything right. But, it was just like, wow, y'all still hanging in there. Y'all almost 80 years old, so, and that's all I know. I just know them, and I know that they had my grandmother. And whether he had a family somewhere else, I don't know. Whether he was sneaky, I don't know. But I just know in my eyes, I just seen the beautiful connection of, black, beautiful love. And that's what I long for, and that's what I aim for. And like I said, I got your back as long as you got my back. But if you come to me with some bullshit, you will be called out, and it may be in a very unpleasant way. So that's why I said everybody ain't the same. Just because another woman is cool with you fucking around behind her back, as long as you covering whatever she needs you to cover, all women not the same. And I'm one of them. Don't come to me with some bullshit, because I know how to pay my bills. I know how to pamper myself. I know how to fuck myself, and I don't need the games. So if you coming into my world, just know I'm gonna be asking these type of questions. With love, peace out.